All right, we continue on the next round. We got a three-time world champion in studio with us. Coach Skip Holtz joins us now. Welcome in, Coach. Congrats again.
Well, thank you. It's great to be back for sure, but it's even better to win.
These three-peats are easy, right?
You know, I think it's all going to sink in one day because I don't know. I can look back and go, wow, year one, boy, that was pretty special what we did. Year two is pretty incredible. But you know what? This one, year three, with the XFL and the UFL coming together, the debate about which has got the better ball, the product, which I think has been much, much better with the dispersal of both teams and both leagues. But this is a pretty rewarding thing, and to see what we've been able to accomplish now, it's been pretty special. It'll all sink in here in the off season.
That's one thing about you coaches. It's hard for you just to stop and enjoy the moment. I mean, you've got to work so much ahead. It's really hard, isn't it?
Well, when you're in the middle of it, it's kind of like, honestly, you look back and you go, oh my gosh, we were 11-1. You know what I mean? It's like you're so focused on what's next, because you have so much to get done in preparation to play your next game. Yesterday's blurry. You know what I mean? You don't ever have a chance to sit down and really look back and go, wow, we were 11-1. That's pretty cool. And then you start talking about winning three in a row. But I said to somebody, they said, how in the world do you go 32-4?
Right. How do you?
And I said, you know what? We set out to go 1-0 against New Jersey 3 years ago. Honestly, that's how you get there. We got to find a way to win this one. And I was scared to death that we were going to get beat by 50 points. Going in that first time in pro ball, is this going to work? What I'm doing offensively, is this work? Is a college game going to relate over to the pro game? And I walked into that game scared, and we won. And then it was like, whew, all right, let's see if we can get next week. And here we are 3 years later, and you go, wow, we've done a lot.
And now the expectation is a 4.
That's right. We got to have number 4.
The amazing thing, we talked about this Monday when we were talking about the championship, is you've done it with a handful of quarterbacks. Normally, Kansas City's going to be going one in the NFL, and they're going to be your favorite.
Right.
But they've got Pat Mahomes. They've got one of the best quarterbacks to ever do it. You guys have done it with multiple quarterbacks.
Yeah, and I think it's a testament to the players. I mean, obviously, the way they come in, they all come in here really hungry. It's not by choice. I've played with 3 different quarterbacks, or 4 different quarterbacks that we've played so far. I'd love to have the same one, but unfortunately, the NFL keeps coming in and taking them away from us, or injuries happen, and that's part of the game as well. So one of the things I've loved about the league is I'm in the quarterback room again. As coaches, you start in the profession and you're a position coach and you're in the room and it's X's and O's, and then you become a coordinator and then you become a head coach and you get away from that room a little bit and getting into the middle of the forest and digging through the trees. But now I'm back in the room talking about, all right, we're going to read this boundary safety, and when he turns and goes to the field, we're coming back to the boundary. We're going to go. This is my passion. I love this part of it. It's one of the things I've always loved about football. I love watching these quarterbacks get developed and all that, and it's been a lot of fun for me because not only are you calling plays and trying to be a head coach, but you're getting on the ground floor with these quarterbacks and digging in. And so it's been rewarding for me. It's been a pleasure for me, but it's building those relationships with those guys and watching them get better. And they all are just trying to get to the next league. That's what they're all trying to do.
Another thing we brought up the other day is, why in the hell did Louisiana Tech get rid of you? I mean, look, you're a very positive guy, which we respect that. Yep. But, and I don't even know, and that's another thing. People are like, is Skip going to go back to college?
Yeah, we get asked that a lot. Yeah. What about your future?
And there's a ton of money there. We know that. But
is.
It's a different world now with NIL and transfer portal.
One of the reasons that I got here was because Louisiana Tech fired me. I've had, we were talking about in the last 12 football seasons, I've been to 8 bowls, won 7 of them, won 3 championships, and had 1 losing season. And the 1 losing season was when I got fired. You know what I mean? It's like, and that's
tough occupation.
Hey,
by the way,
it's an occupational hazard losing, for sure. But you know what? I never would have found this. And I got fired there. We had been to 7 bowl games in a row. We had won 6 in a row. We were having great success. We had 1 losing season. I got fired. And I got sour on college football. I mean, it was like, you know what, to do what we've done and nobody appreciates it. Nobody cares. 1 bad year, get out. You know what I mean? Next. And I thought, you know what, I'm done. And I had a lot of college opportunities when they fired me, which I think was they fired me at Louisiana Tech, and I had other college jobs trying to hire me. And I just I was turned off by it because of the what I went through at Louisiana Tech. And when this opportunity came, it was new. It was pro ball. It had the support of Fox. And I never would have sat down and listened to the conversation had I still been at Louisiana Tech. But being out of it, it was something that excited me. It challenged me, took me out of my box a little bit, and excited me. And that's at my age, I just want to find something that's going to get you out of bed in the morning to wake up and go, hey, let's go to work. You know what I mean? Like, it's not work when you get up out of bed and you don't need an alarm and you can jump out and go, let's go get it done. I mean, and I have absolutely loved this. It's been an incredible journey. I've loved Birmingham. I have loved this league. I've loved pro sports. I think it's one of the best jobs I've had, and I never would have found it had they not released me. So as much as I can look back and say, you know what, they have the right to hire whoever they want. That's part of the thing that they have, is they can decide who they want to be their next football coach. I hope they find what they want. I love Sonny Cumbie. He's a really good guy. I cheer for that place. I want him to win, but I have certainly been blessed, you know what I mean, with the opportunities that have been put in front of me.
Is this what you thought it would be, though? Like, so when, you know, when you get the offer and it's like, hey, it's new league now. I mean, there's a lot of unknown there. You know, at the time it was, we're all going to be in Birmingham together. And you're, you know, I mean, it was just, there was a lot of unknown and it was a lot of different. As you look back on it now, could you have convinced yourself this is what it was going to be like?
No, it's better than I thought. I mean, and I never, I don't know, I'm a positive guy. I think, you know, the glass is always half full. And when I sat down and talked to him, to Brian Woods, who was the guy that first gave me this opportunity, who was working with Fox, and met with Eric Shanks and talked with the people with Fox. And Kevin Sumlin was a big part. He had already kind of signed up. He was a big part of selling me. But when I heard the support of Fox, I never even considered it failing. That was never even, Eric Shanks was like, look, we're committed to this thing for 3 years. We're going to build this thing where this is what we want. This is how we're going to build it. This is why we're doing it. I was like, I'm in. I mean, he sold me, and I was like hook, line, and sinker. You know what I mean? They might have been reeling me in, but I was all on board. And so never, somebody said to me, they said, did you ever think like a spring league hasn't made it past 6 games? And I thought, I'm glad I didn't know that then. You know what I mean? I probably wouldn't have done it. But I mean, I just jumped in and we've been going, and it has been, like I said, it has been awesome. I've been blessed.
There's the video. Scott showing the video of you getting dunked. I know that never gets old.
I need to watch this because I want to know who the culprits were. I see Jamar there. I see that looks like Ricky Person.
They're coming for you. They're coming for you.
Yep. And then right there, Brock Heward set me up big time because he takes that microphone and puts it right in front of me. He goes, Coach, with a couple seconds left on the clock, and goes to ask me. And I saw him look up and start running. It was like by the time I turned my face, just in time to get a face.
I would assume that never gets old.
Yeah, no, it does not. It's cold. No, it is like a whoo. Yeah. I mean, it's cold, but they could do it to me. I mean, every day. It's totally worth it.
You talked about you were a little bitter after La Tech let you go, at least towards the college game.
Yeah.
But there was a minute that you went to Chicago, to Evanston, and you helped out the Northwestern program, and it really was a fascinating story. Pat Fitzgerald seemed like one of those guys that was going to be at Northwestern forever.
Agreed.
And then David Braun comes in, no head coaching experience, was the defense coordinator at North Dakota State, and maybe one of the least talked about great stories of college football last year, winning 8 games. Just tell us about that experience.
Well, start after championship number 2. I got a phone call. Would I be interested with everything going on at Northwestern? They had the hazing accusations that went on. Pat Fitzgerald's a great friend of mine. Unbelievable amount of respect for him. He, in my opinion, does it the right way, has always done it the right way, is about ethics, morals, values. I just have great respect for him.
It was a shocking story.
Shocking. Uncharacteristic of what you would think would come out. I don't believe it. I wasn't there for it all. I don't know what happened, but I didn't believe it. They asked me if I'd be interested. I said, you know what? Put me on the phone with David Braun. Give me about 2 hours and let us just talk. Put us on a Zoom call. Everybody else get away and let's talk. And we hit it off. We talked values, theories, coaching philosophies. And I told him, I said, look, if you want to be the defense coordinator, call me. and I can help you as a head coach. If you want to be the head coach, go hire a D coordinator and let me go travel with my family and go do what I'm going to do this fall, getting ready for year 3. He called and said, you know what, I want to be the D coordinator and I need help being a head coach. I've never done this before. And so as I told them, I ran into the burning barn. Everybody said, why would you go? That place is on fire. I said, exactly. That's why there's a group of coaches and players that are being, everybody was the villain. Everybody was guilty. Everybody was part of the hazing story. There were picketers outside practice that they would walk through to go to practice. It was as sad of a story, you know what I mean, that there is. But the story was the group of young men on the inside that rallied together. They were 1-11 the year before. They had a ceiling of 1.5 games in Vegas, you know what I mean, that they were going to win this year. And for that team with an interim head coach, as I told David Braun, I've got 2 goals. 1, I want to get this team to a bowl game. 2, I want to get that interim tag removed off you. I didn't go up there to get the head job. I have a job. I love my job. I want a 3-peat. I want to go back and see if we can win a 3rd. So it wasn't, I'm going to go there and maybe I can be the head coach and maybe it was truly the opportunity to go work with a great group of guys and see what you could do to help. To win 8, to beat Utah in a bowl game, to see those players celebrate and the joy from where they were and the way they were all villainized to what they were able to accomplish will be one of my great stories, you know what I mean, that I was able to be part of.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
But it does mean, as you pointed out to us before we started the interview, you've coached, 37 games in 14 months?
37 games in 14 months.
That's incredible.
Well, that's why I am ready to put my head on a pillow for a couple days. I am ready. Because when the Northwestern thing, you'd asked about it, when it came up, I told my wife I was going to do it, and she goes, well, we were going to go to Ireland. Well, we were. You're right. Well, we were going to go here. You told me we were going to do the first fall I've ever had off, you know what I mean, in my whole life, and we were going to go do all these things. I know, honey, but we'll do it next fall. Next fall. So you end up canceling a lot of things, but it's been a whirlwind. I would not take any of it back. I need to recharge my batteries right now. I think that was one of the more rewarding things I did, but it was definitely under the unique circumstances and the respect I have for Pat Fitzgerald and the conversation I had with David Braun. And I'm happy for him. He's now the sitting head coach, deserves it. Couldn't be more excited for him. But at the same time, I'm glad that I had the opportunity to come back because this is the job that I want right now, is having the opportunity to lead Birmingham.
Go back to 1986. You're playing at Notre Dame.
Yep.
You're 1 carry. What do you remember most about it?
Oh, my gosh, 17 to the left. I was the right halfback, ran it over to the left. No, it was like 1 carry, 1 yard. That was it, baby. You know what? 1 carry. Hey, positive. It wasn't 1 carry for no gain. It wasn't 1 carry for -1. 1 carry, 1 yard. I was a walk-on, was not a great player. Loved the game.
You were the original Rudy, and are you one of those? There's so many people. That's a polarizing movie. I mean, it's crazy.
Yep.
I went to South Beach one time, or not South Beach,
South Bend.
South Bend.
They're not the same.
They're
by the way.
not the same. Not the same at all.
The same.
But and this was in I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. They were playing Tennessee. And I remember Rudy walking through the stands, and a lot of people were coming up and talking about him. And then I heard some other Notre Dame fans, that it was so sensationalized. I think you hate the movie, don't you?
I'm not a huge fan of it. No.
Yeah. But was that what practice was like for a walk-on?
It all depends upon the head coach. You know what I mean? It all depends upon the head coach. But
you knew the head coach, right?
My last year at Notre Dame was my father's first. So it was pretty cool because I had an opportunity to be there first. You know what I mean? So for me, I went the Rudy route. I went to Holy Cross. When I try and explain to everybody, I didn't have 2 years of a foreign language coming out of high school. I told them I came out of Arkansas. They were lucky I had 2 years of English. You know what I mean? So I didn't have 2 years of a foreign language, and so I had to go to Holy Cross for 2 years to get my foreign language commitment to get into Notre Dame. And so then I went to Notre Dame. Dad was at Arkansas at the time, then went to Minnesota, and then came into Notre Dame my very last year.
Jerry Faust was the coach?
Jerry Faust was there during that time.
Yeah.
And so when I went from Holy Cross over to Notre Dame, got an opportunity to play for my dad for that 1 year, was great. It was a great experience for me. I was a special team player. I was a walk-on, and it just, for me, it gave me the lessons the game teaches you about hard work.
Were you living at home? Because I would think
no.
if you would have left it, or if you would have lived at home, you would have seen your dad less, though, right?
Yeah, no, I did not live at home. I lived on campus as a student, and then mom and dad moved in. It was a great place because now I had a place to go do laundry and get a home cooked meal. So that part was great. I would have had to drive to Minnesota my junior year, but I had an opportunity to get that my senior year, and then got blessed to get into this game of coaching and went down to Florida State and have never looked back. I had a job at the time paying me about $70,000 to get into the business world. And I turned that down to go make $400 a month to go be a GA at Florida State.
Under Coach Bowden.
Yeah. And went there and have never looked back and never been to work a day in my life. I just have absolutely fallen in love with it. Had some phenomenal mentors, and Bobby Bowden and Earl Bruce, and then working for my father on two different occasions, back at Notre Dame and at South Carolina. But it has been a phenomenal experience, run. I'm passionate about the game. I'm passionate about the lessons it teaches. I'm passionate about the development of the player, which is where I think the college game has lost its niche. I always said I would never leave college. I'd never go pro because I love the development side of the game. And I believe right now what I'm in is probably the purest level of football going on right now because you've got everybody's making the same money. Colleges can't say that. The NFL can't say that. You've got guys that are here because they love the game. They want to play. They want film. They love the game and they want to get better. And if you can help them get better, they're like shadows. Like every time you stop, they bump into you. You know, they're like, Coach, what do I do here? What should I do? Should I go inside, outside? How do I do this? What do you think I need to be doing with my back foot here? What do you think? And they're just passionate about it. I walked into my first team meeting and said, 3 things we got to get done. And everybody's like, you know, grabbing paper and pencil and writing everything down. And it's like, what a breath of fresh air. Because right now in colleges, if you're in a group of 5, you're trying to have a great year to go to a Power 5. If you're in a Power 5, you're trying to find who's going to pay you more from the NIL. And the way I think the portal is needed. Honestly, I think it's a great thing. I'm on a tangent now. Sorry.
Keep rolling.
Keep tangenting.
But I think the portal is needed for players to enjoy this great game and have the opportunity. If they get into a situation, not what they thought it would be, different coaching changes, don't get to play, not playing the role they want, they can go find a home to enjoy this great game because they have a limited window when they can play it. I think the NIL is needed. There is a lot of money being made right now at a corporate level. I know that there's Title IX bills and there's college bills, but there's enough to share. And I think the players deserve a part of it. I think the two of them together are poison. I think players are now transferring for NIL money, and that's not what that's not what it was designed to be all about. And I think the sooner they can get rid of these collectives and kind of put everybody, make some rules, and soon everybody can kind of get on the same page, I think the better chance college football has to find some stable footing.
Coach Skip Holtz is with us in studio. But you're coaching a group of guys, and this is a motivating factor. There's no doubt that this is their last chance.
Yes.
I mean, this is my last chance to play football.
Yes.
And a lot of college guys should understand that because it is also their last chance. They don't think that.
No, they don't. They're all going. I mean,
that's right. They're all going to the NFL.
Go into a team, any college foot, and who's going to the NFL? Stand up. You know, 108 guys will stand up. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, 2 of you were right. The other 101, you're wrong. Get ready to use that degree that you're not going to class for. Yeah, get ready to use that one because you're going to need it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is. It is the reality. This game. There are not a lot of positions when you look in the big picture for the number of people that play it that go from high school to college to the NFL. And just evidenced by the talent that's in our league right now that's not in an NFL camp. And all they're trying to do is rebrand themselves and get that opportunity again. I know Tillman is looking, he's out in Denver right now as a defensive end who's probably going to sign there. Ricky Persons is supposed to sign out in Seattle. I mean, we've got a number of players, I think. Garvin, I think, is working out for the Cowboys this week. I mean, last year we had 22 players in an NFL camp, 22 players out of our 50. Now, out of those, like 9 made it, but 22 got into a camp. I think that's what this league is about, is giving those guys that second opportunity. And so, you know, it is definitely the next stop's the bus stop. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
if they don't make it here, it's time to start getting into the real world.
Did the NFL guys call you? I mean, like, does, a front office call you and say, tell me everything you can about this guy? I
They
mean,
do.
Yeah.
I mean, they do.
So,
Believe me, they do the research because
Yeah.
when they do them, pay them at different levels there, they're going to do the research. They're going to talk to everybody they can to find out everything
Yeah.
they can about a certain player. What makes him tick? What are his highs? What are his lows? Positives, negatives? What's he do special? I mean, they're all about the questions about these players.
We talked about your relationship with your dad, and a lot of guys in your situation, maybe they get opportunities a lot quicker. You grind it.
Yep.
And from 94 to 98, you were in Storrs, Connecticut, and big story a couple of weeks ago, Dan Hurley flying out to L.A. Would he take the Lakers job? I'm a Lakers guy, but I was like, if I'm Dan Hurley, I'm staying in Storrs. I've never personally been to Storrs, but his opportunity to go for a three-peat coming up.
Yep.
What is Storrs like? You know that basketball, the blood there. You coach with Jim Calhoun.
And Gino Auriemma, you know what I mean? There were the two coaches there when I was there. And I used to love having the opportunity to go watch those guys. As a young coach, I was 29 years old. I'm the head coach at Connecticut. And it's like, all right, where's the manual that tells me how to drive this ship? It was my first head job. But it was a great experience. I was born in Mansfield, right outside of Storrs. So that's where Dad was coaching at Connecticut when I was born there. So I was born there, had a little nostalgic to me to have the opportunity to go there, to be the head football coach. Storrs, the first thing when you come up over the hill, there's a dairy farm right there. And that's kind of where it starts. So like if you've ever been to Storrs, you might rethink L.A. or Storrs. You might rethink that a little bit. Great place. It's just very removed, way out in the country, but it's a great place. It really is. And it's Connecticut's a small state, but it is a very passionate state. So it's a great place, and they love their hoops. They love their hoops.
Did you ever get snow days being up there? Down here in Alabama, we would get
just the threat of snow gets us
It might snow. Everybody's out of school.
Right. Even in Connecticut?
No.
Oh, I was about to say.
Oh, no, it dropped. We'd have nor'easters where it dropped 42 inches of snow like overnight, and you're trapped in your house, and it's like, all right, state of emergency. Only emergency vehicles for the next 24 hours. After that, it's all bets off.
Unbelievable.
So you got mounds of snow that you can't see over, trying to shovel out. I mean, it was, it was a little bit different. But no, they know how to handle it there. They're prepared for it there.
Yeah. All right. So will you be back next year? You the Stallions coach next year?
I plan on it. Certainly plan on it. I mean.
So money can't pry you away.
I'm never say never, and I'm not saying just talking about money, but I don't do this for money right now, and I've been very blessed to be a head coach for about 30 years. And so, it's not about me trying to get the next dime. It's about me feeling challenged in the opportunity I have ahead of me. There are some other things out there that might excite me. I don't know. I've never had a huge desire to be in the NFL, but that intrigues me a whole lot more than college does right now.
Somebody said, hey, we want you to be the quarterback's coach for the New York Jets.
It's something I'd consider. Yeah. Can I tell you I'd take it? Right now, what motivated me not to be at Northwestern a year ago was I wanted an opportunity to three-peat, and now there's that number 4 out there, you know what I mean, that seems looming on the horizon. Then it's like, well, we got to 3. Can we get to 4? You know what I mean? And those things drive me. Those are challenges. I need to be motivated. I need to be challenged. I don't want to go through the motions. I don't want to go through life as a spectator. And I want to have a situation and a job where I get out of bed every morning and don't feel like I have to go to work. I got to get this done and this done and this done. And it's what I'm passionate about and what I love. And right now, I don't know what the future is going to hold. We'll see what bridges come in front of us, which ones we have to cross. I would tell you that the farther away I get from college, the less likely I am to ever go back. But again, never say never. You don't know the situation that would arise with it. But right now, I love what I'm doing. I love Birmingham. I've said this publicly a million times. This is the best job I've ever had. And I say that because of the athletes that we deal with, the difference that we are making in their lives, the way that Birmingham has kind of opened its arms. I've loved Birmingham. I've lived in Ruston, Louisiana for the last 9 years. Come on. I mean, you know what I mean?
There comes the bitterness back.
And it isn't a bitterness. I had great memories. I know. And I have great memories from there and great wins and relationships and players and lifelong friends. And, that was a huge part of my life. That was 9 years of my life. And so, yeah, I look back there, but Ruston is a small town, and it's a sleepy little small town. And it's been great to be in Birmingham. It's been great to be in this new league.
You can make an argument now, one of the most successful active head coaches in the state of Alabama, now that Nick Saban
That's right.
is gone.
You moved to the top.
Did you ever have any kind of relationship, any round of golf, anything with Nick Saban?
Yeah, I have great respect for Coach Saban and I've never coached with him. Obviously, my father and him had a number of games against each other, and I've known Coach Saban, talked to Coach Saban, but one of the best stories, and I tell this all the time because it's so appropriate. When I was in the 8th grade, Dad was coaching at Arkansas, and they were playing Alabama in the Sugar Bowl in 1980. And Dad said to me, he goes, "You want to go to breakfast?" And I said, "Sure, I'll go with you." And so I go with Dad to breakfast, and I have breakfast with Bear Bryant and Lou Holtz.
Wow.
As an 8th grader. So pretty cool. Sitting there, and they're going back and forth, talking. I'm like watching the tennis match. You know what I mean? Like listening to these two talk. And at the end, Dad said, "Skip, do you have anything for Coach Bryant?" I said, "What advice would you give a young guy that wants to get into coaching one day?" He said, "Skip, I would tell you that you need to be at the right place at the right time." I'm in 8th grade. It's the dumbest advice I've ever heard. How do you know when the right place and the right time is? How do you know where to be?
I really can't control that.
Are you kidding me? And now somebody will say to me, it's like, "Skip, what advice would you give him?" I'd say, I think I'd tell you need to be at the right place at the right time. It's amazing how wisdom comes with age and experience, and you start to realize it. But it is so true. I've just like the opportunity to be here right now, the opportunity to be one of the head coaches in the UFL. I was at the right place at the right time. We talked about I had just been let go at Louisiana Tech, or I probably would not have even accepted the phone call to come and do the interview. I mean, so just timing. They say that God looks out for stupid people, so I'm on top of the list.
We're all thankful for that. Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
It's moved past in the chat room now, but Bobby wanted us to thank you for the Generation X Stallions fans, the original Stallions fans, for the 3 titles that the 80s teams couldn't win. So there you go.
Well, the 80s teams are part of what motivated me to be part of this now, was because when everybody talked about it, it's like, why the USFL? I remember it in the 80s.
Raleigh Dodge.
Oh, yeah.
It was going to put the NFL down, right?
Yeah. Well, that was their goal.
Yeah.
That was the way they were competing, and probably one of the reasons that they folded was when they tried to turn go head to head. But that was all part of what excited me back then, was the success that they had then. And so when he said, I said, which team? And he goes, "I don't know if I'm going to put you with New Orleans or Birmingham." And I said, "I just would like one of them." And I was like, "Oh, please, Birmingham." I had been in Louisiana for the last 9 years, so it was like so I'm just glad it worked out the way it did.
It's funny you bring that up. We were talking about Howard Schnellenberger. Was that yesterday or 2 days? It was yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah.
He was the head coach at Miami, just won the national championship, and the USFL team. He was going to be, they were moving one, I think, to Miami, right?
Yeah, Miami Spirit, right?
The Miami Spirit. He was going to be the president, general manager, head coach, and an ownership stake. And they never played a game. And he left the Miami job for that. And they had just won the national championship. Yeah. And you're well aware of what Miami did over the next decade.
Exactly.
And Howard Schnellenberger would have done that. That guy could coach.
Yep.
So, I mean, when you say right place, right time,
it's all part of it. That is to this day, I looked at it then to today as now it's some of the best advice you could give anybody. I mean, part of it's timing. But you know what? How do you know in the right place, the right time? That's why you go to conventions. That's why you go to coaching conventions. That's why you go visit people. That's why you're always trying to build your Rolodex, because you don't know where that opportunity is going to come from. You may go to a business meeting, and sit next to somebody and meet somebody that's going to create the opportunity of a lifetime for you. You just don't know where those opportunities are going to come. And that's why you try and work hard, you try and do the right thing, and hopefully there's a master plan, and I can't wait to get up there one day to be able to see it and go, I get it now. It all makes sense. You know what I mean? It all makes sense and how it all played out.
You don't seem like a guy that wastes a lot of time, but would you say that you spend as much time as the Stallions coach as you did at like Louisiana Tech?
In season, I mean, I'm a get up at 5:30, be in the office at 6, and then go leave at 8, 9, and go get some dinner, go home, go to bed, and start all day tomorrow. This is all I do. We were living in Dallas here for the last 4 months, and everybody goes, "How was Dallas?" Well, I had a condo 0.2 of a mile away from Choctaw Stadium, which is where we played and practiced. So I would get up in the morning and I would drive my 0.2 miles to Choctaw Stadium and go through one red light and go there. I had a little Keurig in my office, make my coffee, and get to work. When the day was over, I would drive my 0.2 miles back home and go to bed. So when people say, "How's Dallas?" I go, it's not as big as I thought. It's not as big
I put
as I
27
remember.
miles on my car.
a little one red light town.
In 4 months. I drove went through one light and one roundabout. You know what I mean? Wasn't even a light. But it was a great experience for me. Loved it. But no, I didn't work harder in one over the other. But the good thing about this one is in season is a grind. In season is a grind for any coach. It's a 7-day a week. Your light day is game day, and that is the hardest day emotionally. But that is your light day. And then in this league, we traveled 11 weeks in a row. So you were on an airplane getting home at 4 in the morning, because you had a 6 o'clock game. That's over at 9. Your plane's leaving at 11. You get back home at 1. You know what I mean? It's just like crazy hours that you put into it all. But the reward here is there is no recruiting now. We don't go on the road in a college job. Right after your bowl game, you were on the road recruiting the next day.
Yeah.
You were getting ready for your winter workouts. You were getting ready for spring practice. You were getting ready for your summer workouts. Here, I'll spend a lot of time with Zach Potter, our GM or personnel guy. I will spend a lot of time with him on the phone as we will start putting this roster together for next year now. We will start putting names together and starting the thing. There will be a couple drafts between now and then. And so there will be a lot of work that will go into putting it together, but it's not near the off season. So off season, not even close. In season, probably even harder because you don't have the manpower, and being the head coach, the offensive coordinator, and the quarterback coach, you got to wear a lot of hats. And so it's a pretty big grind, but the reward is at the end because it's not near as demanding once the season's over.
Well, we'll let you get to that nap you've been putting on.
Oh, I am looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that.
Do we get a trip to Ireland? I mean, is the wife going to get to go?
Well, I mean, I'd like to take my golf clubs.
Oh, yeah. It's once in a lifetime.
No, I know. I've never played golf over there. And
I
everybody
know.
goes, "Really?
Yeah.
As much as you love golf?" I said, "I've been in college game. I've had 2 weeks off my whole life." One of those, a summer. Every summer I get 2 weeks.
Yeah.
One summer is spent with my family vacation on the 4th, and one is spent with my family. So my brothers and sisters are a week. My family's a week. Other than that, it's like, when do you go? Well, now I have that opportunity. So we're talking a lot about it, but I want to get back over there. I definitely want to get over there and play some golf. But we're going to have some trips lined up for this fall.
Well, congratulations again. As Birmingham residents, we appreciate the positive light you brought on our city.
Well,
the Stallions have done that. We appreciate that.
Well, Birmingham has been great to us. Glad to be here. Great respect for y'all. Glad we could do this. I know, not being here in the city is something that frustrates me because the last 2 years we've been able to be here. But like I said, as I told the players, the only thing everybody's shooting for us right now, we're the villains, we're winning. The only thing better than playing against Birmingham is playing for Birmingham. So for me, it's great to be in the city. Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate it, coaches. They're calling him in the chat room the King of Spring.
King of Spring.
Skip Holtz, the coach of the Birmingham Stallions. We'll come back on the next round after this.